Hi and welcome to this week's Wu Wei Wisdom Life Lessons teaching. It's great to be back with you all. This week we are focusing on how to create your own happiness and what stops you from doing this. You'll discover the main mindset blocks that prevent you from experiencing happiness, and you'll learn how to overcome them. Okay, David, so let's go back to basics. In the Wu Wei Wisdom model, what exactly is happiness?
Okay, well, I guess a very basic happiness is a description of an emotional feeling. That's what we're talking about. The problem is, I guess, even want to go deeper, what is it that creates happiness? And it has to be your beliefs and your thinking about situations or circumstances that you're encountering. The famous thing is somebody slipping on a banana skin can make somebody happy and laugh, and then somebody can be concerned about the person who slipped. So it's always about what you think and what you believe. Your perception of the event creates the positive emotion. We give it a label. We call it happiness, joy, overjoyed, and that's the label that we're giving that feeling that we're creating.
So I know many clients come to you because they are unhappy in their lives, in one aspect or several aspects of their life. And you work with all your clients on their mindset and mindset issues. So what would you say is the most critical mindset block that prevents people from experiencing happiness more often?
It's a really good question, Alex, because there is one that sticks out above the others, and it's what I call in my model accountability. They believe that other people or the things or the situations are responsible for their happiness. They are not responsible for it. They're always in a responding situation. They always want to respond. Other people should look after them, should be mindful of their happiness or unhappiness and do something to make it right for them. So in my model, although it seems a kind of a strange word to use in connection with happiness, they become a victim. They become a victim of circumstances, and then this victim mode of being unhappy or dread or always looking on the dark side, can never see the positive side, always looking at the worst of situations and people, becomes their mindset, their belief system, and therefore their identity, and that's how they live.
So this belief that I'm not responsible for my happiness, other things, other people should make me happy. That's their responsibility. So my job should make me happy. My partner should make me happy. My parents should make me happy. This is the fundamental trip up they make, that all of a sudden there's like a weight of expectation, and it's as if they're sitting back. And well, I mean, I think people work hard though. People work hard in their career. People work hard in their relationships. Do you think often it's like, I've given out a lot. I've given out a lot to my job, or I've given out a lot in my relationship. Therefore, the equation is I need to get it back.
You kind of worked it through yourself there, Alex, as you was asking the question. You use a very important word, expectation. So they will have an expectation of what they deserve. And so that is very rarely met. And then they start to go into the inner child thinking, the pendulum and thinking, well, I don't deserve it. And they're not trying hard enough. They don't love me enough if it's about a partner, or my parents should have done this and shouldn't have done that. And so they start to swing from side to side, but always is the same, that other people should make them happy. They are meant to be happy, but it's other people that should make them happy. And really the life lesson in this video is it's your responsibility. It's an emotional experience, a feeling. And so once it falls into it's an emotional feeling, then it falls into you are the creator of your emotions. It's very much the same as, when we do our teachings on love. And people are always looking for other people to give them love. But if we talk about love and happiness, same thing, as an emotional feeling, No one can give you happiness, because I could do something that I would think make you happy. So I'm trying to do something, tell you a joke, pull a funny face, do something, but it doesn't make you happy. Is that my responsibility? And so it goes down to you said at the beginning, what's the fundamental? And it does come down to the fundamental. Happiness, joy, is a description of an emotional feeling, like love. And therefore, you create it. Other people cannot create it for you and transport it into your body.
But David, you mentioned expectations, and it's these expectations that are tripping us up. But it's kind of hard not to have any expectations in, say, a relationship, or expectations when you've worked hard in your career and you want a job that's fulfilling. It almost seems like an impossible task and too extreme to have zero expectations.
No, I'm definitely not saying you shouldn't have expectations. And again, we've done many teachings on this. You see, these are really fundamental things that affect all of our lives and everyone around us, our family, our friends, our colleagues at work. They might not be able to talk about it like we are and think about it, but it's affecting them. So expectations are okay, but I personally don't like the word expecting, because if you look at that, you are expecting something. How can you control what's coming toward you? So I understand in our society we use that word, I guess I'm saying, and I'm not saying we should never use it. So I think you've got to be careful the definition that you put on the word expecting or expectations. And many of my clients, these are the nuances that can really free them and free their lives, because many of my clients match expectations, what they expect, with what I call CCJ. They're very critical. They compare themselves all of the time. So their expectations, for instance, on comparing is not what they want, is looking at somebody else and seeing that they're better than them, or being judgmental about themselves, and being judgmental. You mentioned your partner. Your partner doesn't meet your expectations. You see, you're back onto the carousel of despair. So I understand in our society, we use the word expectations. I personally don't like the word. I think it takes you down the wrong way of expecting. And then very easily, if you set your expectations too high, then you're going to be disappointed. And then you're going to blame the other person. They didn't meet my expectations. They didn't do what I wanted to do. I would want you to think from a Taoist perception about being more in the moment, being accountable for you, for your happiness. You then talked about career and job. Yes, wouldn't it be really nice to be in a career that you love and you really want to be in? And can I tell you, when I ask my clients who come to me with that career advice and we work on their career, my first question is, well, what career would you like to be in? And you know what they say? I don't know. And here's the problem. See, they're always looking for something or someone else to be accountable. Why don't you first think about what is it, if you're talking about career, for instance, what is it that brings you joy? What is it that brings you happiness? Do you want to now get better at those core qualities of what it is? It could be art, it could be singing, it could be music, it could be athletics, it could be something. What is it that you really love? Now, how can we now build a career about what you really love? So it's kind of flipping it over a little bit rather than looking outside and saying, oh, I expected at this time of life I would be successful. As my question is, well, let's have a look at those expectations and let's see what's going wrong.
And so I guess what you're saying is don't compare, criticize and judge, because inevitably that draws your expectations towards perfection and a reality that doesn't exist. But also you're not saying have zero expectations, but take responsibility for your choices. Don't wait for someone else or something else to come up with the goods that, you can generate, you can manufacture your own pleasure, your own stimulation, your own joy, your own inner peace, your own inner calm, all these kind of green light feelings associated with happiness by yourself. And I guess a lot of people must say to you, well, what is there like a mechanical process for creating these great green light feelings? Is for the feeling of happiness? Is there something that we can do? I can do every day to take responsibility for my happiness, like a habit?
Yes, I'll answer your first part of the question first, because this is the mistake that people make. They say, so you're saying I shouldn't have expectations, so therefore I should have no expectations. No, what I'm saying is I would question how you define the word expectations. Again, we've done a teaching on this, because expectations are like goals. I prefer, rather than having a goal and then expectations of a certain outcome, you have an intention, a direction of travel, the way that you would like to travel. Because if you're focused so hard on an expectation or a goal, you tend to miss what's happening. It's almost like you're just wanting to live. When you arrive, you've got to arrive at a destination, this goal, this expectation, before you can take a breath and start enjoying yourself. Well, you're talking about your life. You're talking about you could live 20, 30, 40 years just fighting towards that expectations. And believe me, I have a lot of this with my clients. They have this expectation. I remember one person, oh my goodness, it was so hard for him. He'd worked really hard. He was in banking. He'd worked really hard. He'd built his pension scheme up, and he'd planned. He'd even worked out the route. And him and his wife, when he was 65, was going to retire, and they were going to spend 5 years cruising around the world. And they built it up. They nearly booked hotels and all like that. Then his wife became blind, completely blind. I think it was something like 6 months before he retired. And this is why it's so difficult. If you set all of your joy and your happiness on one outcome, what happens when that outcome goes away? Your life is almost wasted. And this is the trouble with goals and expectations. And then you mentioned about the swinging pendulum. I am not saying you shouldn't have a goal. And then, we mean I shouldn't have a goal and just let things happen. And this is what people say. They see the two extremes. Stop doing this. There is a point in the middle. In your mind, picture a pendulum. One extreme is to be having a fixed goal and you've got to reach it, else you can't be happy. The other side is, well, I'm not going to bother. I couldn't care less. Those are both wrong, equally wrong. Where's the point in the center? And that's Wu Wei. That's finding your flow. And why this is so important in Taoism, because when you're on your flow, working towards your intention, what I call yi, Y-I, yi, your intention, guess what? You're more open. You're more available for other, maybe opportunities, synchronicity, other people, which you never even thought about. And all of a sudden, you quite like doing it before you've even realized something comes up and says, hey, could you fill in tonight? Could you do some acting? And before you know it, you think, wow, I really love this. But if you've got this fixed goal, you let go of all that synchronicity. The translation, as I've said in a previous video, that the Taoists use doesn't translate well. It translates into allowing the helpers in. And what it means is allowing to be something you haven't even thought about, something you would never even, as you set your intention, you never even thought about what was happening. And I'll just finish up by going back to my gentleman and his wife. You know what? Instead of waiting for a period in the future to enjoy things, be in the moment. Start enjoying things now. This is your life. This is a blessing. We don't know how long it's going to last. We have no control. Don't plan, and put everything off, and it may never happen. Start enjoying it in the moment.
And so in terms of practical translation, practical application of creating our own happiness, being in the moment,
Yes.
not over-strategizing about the future.
Not
overthinking. What else can we do to create our own happiness?
Yes. Stop CCJing. Mm-hmm. Stop it. CCJ, criticizing, comparing, being judgmental. Stop it. Stop it for yourself, and stop it for other people. If something isn't right, then you address it with that person, what it is that isn't right, and where the misunderstanding is. And then finally, and most importantly, do not lie to yourself. The 3 lies. I'm not good enough. Stop it. I can't cope. It's rubbish. I'm unlovable, or I don't deserve it. Because that then blocks your path to your Shen, your spirituality. And for those of you who are new to our teachings, what I call Shen is your intrinsic, your innate, inherent worth and value. Don't look for other people, other things to give you that validation and approval. This is nonsense. Validation is not a commodity that somebody else bestows on you. You can never be happy, create joy, create fulfillment, live to your purpose, live to your potential. When you're waiting for somebody else to ring the bell and give you something, it doesn't work. And so therefore, you're always chasing something else. And this is what will bring, this is practical. This is what you can do today, is connect to the amazing person, awesome person who you are. I can't say it enough. There is no one in the universe like you. I say it on all the teachings. No one. I don't know what I can give you if that's not enough for you. If that's not enough for you, I don't know what else you can get. No one in the universe like you. This is your unique journey. We do not know how long this journey is going to last. Let's enjoy it today. Let's stop looking at the bad things today. Start looking at the good things. Your general health and well-being, your family, your career, that you can eat, you've got a roof over your head. Be grateful for those. Be grateful for those, and now move on from that position of positivity. You're creating green lights of happiness then right away. Now the next question is, how do I maintain and grow these green lights of positivity, of happiness and joy, and start seeing the good things about people, events, your career. And if you want to change them, you're changing them from the right perception. As we said at the beginning, happiness is all about beliefs, mindsets, perception. And thankfully, you're in control of that. Accountability, self-responsibility. Your beliefs are your responsibility, not other people's.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. Well, I will put some links in the show notes to other teachings that will help you with this topic, including our teaching on comparing, criticizing, and being judgmental, which is a fundamental block to happiness. We really hope you have benefited from this teaching. Please do let us know and perhaps share it with someone else who you think it may also help. David works every week with clients all over the world by Zoom video call on exactly these sorts of issues. If you'd like to learn more about David's consultations, please also check out the show notes, and I'll put a link there as well. And finally, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We produce new teachings every week, and we would love to share your journey with you. Bye-bye.